so many people don't understand God's love. And that's why, that's the reason it's hard to get people to accept Christ. That's why it's so hard for people to give and yield everything to God. Because they don't understand God's love. Huh? They think God's love is like our love. It's one of them what you get, what you put in and out of thing. You know. We got that compromising love. God don't have a compromising love. He loves you whether you do good today and mess up tomorrow. Whether you get it back next week, his love don't change. That's why he let his blood be pouring out for sinners, murderers, adulterers. I don't care whether you a whoremonger, drug addict, crackhead, prostitutes, no matter what you are, God's love still pours out for everybody. Whether people caught up on, messed up on, got tangled up in, whether they're in prison, in jail, messed up, God's love changes for them now because he is still a lot of that same blood. For somebody who's been good all their life, that same blood that cleanses, the same blood God will take over here to somebody that we think ain't worthy, that throw it away or should go straight to hell, and he'll put that same love on and they'll go straight to heaven. The love of God reaches the depths that man's mind can't reach, man's heart can't reach, and man can't even conceive in their mind because God's love is beyond borders. It's beyond borders. And because we go through things, sometimes we think God don't love us. No. The reason we go through things is because God do love us. And people are going through stuff today. Let me tell you something. God love ain't to push you from him. God love ain't to make you hate him. God love ain't to make you doubt him. God love ain't to get you mad with him. God, the only thing he doing is say, I love you much more because I want you even more. I want more. I want you. I need God love you so much. Why you think he allow things to happen to you? Let me tell you something. This is the straightforward God truth. People may not agree with what I say. Most time when you find people in church because they got a great need. Oh, you might not say amen, but let me tell you this. When folk had together, they weren't in church. When folk got together, they don't even need God. God is the furthest thing from their mind. When they're not going through nothing, you can't even get them to come to church half the time. Matter of fact, you can't even tell them nothing about God because they figure I got it all together and I know I'm good. But when they start going through trials and tribulation, when they start going through things, Now, so why would you think God even do something like that? Because see, God knows the human mind and the human psyche. He understands that. And not that he have to do that to get people in church. He don't have to do that to get people to love him. It's just most of the time when people are going through something, that's when people try to find something. Because there's always something, there's a void, we always say. There's an emptiness, people say. There's always something, but there's always, without God, there's no completion. The love of God draws us. So sometimes when we go through these trials and these trials, tribulation, that ain't even called God hate us. Say, well, we're going through tribulation because he loves us. You better believe he do. Well, he going to send us through tribulation because he loves us? No, that ain't what I'm saying. I'm telling you, life is life. You're going to go through things in this life, whether you think you should or shouldn't. Because this life, this is a world out here. There's a devil out here in this world. And not only is there a devil, there are spirits of Antichrist out here. There are folk come straight from hell.
Yes, Lord.
They seek you. They persecute you. They hate you without a cause or reason. They jealous of you for no reason. But you got a God that's greater than everything in this world. And so he comes down and says on the physical side, dealing with your mental mind, your stable mind, your ability on a thing that attack you in the flesh, that'll bring you to your knees. Shall that separate God's love, remember, to you? God's love to you. Distress, God's love to you. Danger, harm, healing in your body, God's love to you. God's love to you. Loneliness, nakedness, and brokenness. God's love to you. It don't separate. Separate means come between or to set apart. God loves us. Just like he loved the sinner man out there that we call the sinner man. The lost brother or sister out there, just like the people that's sitting up in this church right now. Let me show you something else. Let's get to the spiritual side. He comes back here and says this. He says, then he said, as it is written. For thy sake, we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all things, we are more than conquerors through him that love us. Now listen to this. Listen to this. He says we are counted as sheep for slaughter. He come back and says, all the day long, we are killed. And then he come back and saying all these things, we are more than conquerors. The question is, okay, not only what do he mean by we being sheep, counted sheep for the slaughter. Not only what do he mean we are killed all the day long, but in being sheep, going to the slaughterhouse and being killed all day long, we are more than conquerors through him that loves us. He come back and he says, fine, persuaded. Here go the spiritual side. Neither death, he used that first, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, right now, neither things to come, ain't came yet. Neither height, nor depth, neither any creature, demon, devil, or whatever, in, round, through, shall be able to separate you, I, us, we all, from the love of God which is in Christ Jesus. Now, the question is, what do he mean by that? Let me get my handkerchief there, preacher. Way we live today, I wonder, are we really persuaded? To hear folk talk and to see what they do, sometimes it'll make you question, are they persuaded? But he comes on the spiritual side and says, neither death. I'm persuaded that death can't separate God's love from me. I'm separated that life cannot separate God's love from me. Now that's something to say. Read it, you get, book knowledge. Spiritually, you get some spiritual knowledge. That neither death nor life, it can't separate God's love from me. He come back and said, look closely here. Look at what it says. Nor angels. What in the world you mean by that? No angels can separate me from God's love. So hold up. Death would try to separate me from you, from your love. Life would try to separate me from your love. Angels would try to separate me from your love. Hold on. Principalities, powers, things present, things to come would try to separate me from your love. He said, I'm persuaded them things won't. What do you mean by that? What in the world do God mean by that? Did angels, principalities, powers would try to separate me from God's love? What do he mean by that? Things present nor things to come would try to separate me from God's love. What do he mean? Okay, let's see right here. Nor heights. Nor this. Any other creature. Now you got creatures up in here. There's some creatures might try to separate me. Creatures. What do you mean by that? Huh? Or any other thing. Let me round robin this thing so we can get in here. The enemy has an agenda. God won't separate his love from you. We separate our love from God. Nothing can separate God's love from us, but things separate our love from God. God's love continue to reach out and reach us. Sometimes our love stop reaching up and reaching out to God. The enemy is wise. Don't think he ain't. Crafty. Don't think he ain't. He's sneaky. Trickery. The Bible says this, that is an angel of light come preaching another gospel, another Christ. Count him a curse.
That's right.
Because there's only one faith, baptism, one God. And if anything, anybody sound good, look good, you know what I'm saying? Come teaching anything contrary, let him be accursed, anathema. Because those things will try to separate. You with me? Can I take you somewhere?
All right.
Take you somewhere real quick. He comes here to a spiritual side. Since we already understand the natural man and the natural side. But the devil here and God here and Paul here is finna take us to a new place. Why would the enemy want our separation from God to us separated? Now, this I don't want this to go over your head. But I gotta take us here for a second. Let me show you this. God's commitment to us is so faithful that he says, what and who shall separate us from God? The reason Paul put this in here, and the reason, now you gotta catch what I say before I get finished here. A lot of times I tell you, we take this meaning from us to God. But it's God to us. What can we do? What can happen to man that'll make God separate his love? See, you can lie and ask God to forgive you, and he will. You can shoot somebody and repent in your heart, and God love for you, he will. But what is it that you can do that God shut his love off from you? What is it that is so powerful that it will cut God's love off from us? See, God tell us this. He said, Jesus said, although I will be with you to the end of the world, but I will never leave you nor forsake you. He said, no matter where you go through, I will never leave you nor forsake you. But Paul come here and said, what can separate us? Who can separate us from the love of God? And the reason he said that is, can something separate us from God's love? Can something cut God's love off from us? Let me take you somewhere. Before time and before eternity and before time ever exists, there was a heaven. It wasn't called heaven because God created heaven and made heaven. There was no heaven before God created. There existed Eden, which is not the Garden of Eden, which is on earth when God created the earth and put Eden there. But it was Eden in heaven, and God was there, and everything God created, because he is love, God loved. Hold on. And before man was ever conceived and sent to earth, there was angels that God had created, and the angels God created, he loved. But there arose one angel that proceeded his boundaries and authority, which is God's love. That God shut off his love. And when God cut it, love, boundaries were set, which called for a whole new thing to be created, which was creation came into existence. Creation is hell and man and earth and all these things. Creation was set forth. But what separated God's love? Because God is love. He is the meaning of love. And everything God created, he showed forth and put forth his glory, which is his mercy and grace and anointing, but it's his love. But Lucifer in heaven, Satan, earth, that the love of God will never redeem him. Hold on. That greatest the love of God is, Satan can never be redeemed. Paul come ask the question, what can separate us from this love? The same love that God will be with us and continue to stay with us. And he named these things. Let me tell you something. State of mind and state of condition and the state which you're in. God's love will not stop flowing to you. Sometimes your love will stop flowing to God. But the question is, what can separate us from the love of God? One thing. You know what it is? Willful knowledge of rejection. God says this, when you reject me, I have rejected you. He said, return unto me and I'll return unto you. But to reject God, you reject his love. Paul come down here and says, what can separate us? The reason he get dealt with is because when we go through trials, sometimes we reject God. When we go through tribulation, sometimes we reject God. When we go through peril times and when we go through things, sometimes we reject God. And what Paul don't want us to do is to reject God. Because what shall separate God's love from you if you reject his love that he give you? The son of man, the unsaved, the person on their way to hell, the person they have rejected God's love. We call the cross, you call the blood, we call all us being children of God. But God said, what can separate? And Paul come down here and he said this because he wants you to study the scripture and show yourself rightfully dividing the word of truth, study, approve. Because what can you do that'll keep God's love from reaching you? And that is to reject it. And that's what Paul don't want you to do. Sometimes while you're going through your tribulation, you reject God's love. Sometimes you don't know you rejected him, but you reject him. Sometimes God trying to speak to you through somebody, through your trial and through your tribulation, and you rejected it. Sometimes God trying to Sometimes God be using and speaking to you, and God be showing you love through the things you go through heights, depths, and death. That's why he put it in there. He put life. That's why he put it in there. That's why he put principalities, powers. That's why he put them in there. But whatever God do, don't reject his love. Because that's the only thing to keep God's love from reaching you. That's why you got to be careful when you're going through trials. What you do, what you say, how you act. That's why you got to be careful with your life, how you treat it, how you treat others. Because the worst thing in the world is to reject God's love. The Bible says like this: there is a terrible thing to fall into the hands of an angry God. God love you. He love us. You ain't got to receive. Some people reject God because maybe they ain't saved, or because maybe they ain't born again, or because maybe they don't know, or because maybe they dealing with some issues in their life. And you tell them about the love, and you tell them about God, and you tell them about Jesus, and you tell them God can change it, and God can fix it, and they reject. I don't know. I don't need God. No, I'm not ready to get saved. No, I don't want. No. Don't you know they rejecting God? Sometimes because people think they know you, and God is speaking through you into their life, they reject it. I don't want to hear it because it's coming from you. But if God is speaking through you and they reject it, don't you know don't you know if God talking to somebody and talking to you, because sometimes we do the same thing. Somebody can be talking to us, and it can be a loved one, but because we so close and we know them, and it can be the truth, and God can be speaking and using that person, we will reject it because of who they are. Let me tell you something, preacher. If God can speak through a donkey, question is, what can separate you from the love of God? You rejecting his love. Don't reject God's love. When you go through trials, because your life didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, because your children didn't turn out the way you was hoping they did, because the situation in your situation present, that's why he said present right now, and things to come that might happen later on down in life. Do not reject the love of God, because God loves you. And I don't care how hard it may seem when you're going through tribulation, you keep and be fully persuaded that God still loves you. When you mess up and you fall into sin, God love cover that. When things go wrong in your life and things don't turn out the way you hoping and you've been praying and maybe your God ain't answered it yet and you thought he should have, don't reject his love, because God is still loving you. And the thing that we got to get across and the thing that we got to show people, God still loves you. Even when people are evil, low down, dirty, God said, love your enemies. Show them my love. He said, and this, how shall they know that you are my disciples? Because you love the brethren. You show my love. My love go beyond boundary. It go beyond color. It go beyond creed. It go beyond race. It go beyond everything. It go beyond because it reaches. Don't reject God's love. Don't you reject it. Some of you wondering today why your situation haven't changed. Maybe because you're rejecting God's love in your situation. Some of you wondering why your finances haven't changed, because God's love got you in some of the things. Maybe God's love got you some of the places, not saying all the time, but because God loves you and don't want to see you self-destruct and destroy yourself. Maybe God gotta do some things and cause some things to happen in your life. Don't reject it. Can you love him anyway? Can you love God anyway? When you reject it, you're rejecting God's love. Question today, are you fully persuaded? Preacher, I'm fully persuaded. I want to ask you, are you fully persuaded? Whether ups, downs, whether win or lose, I'm persuaded that God loves me. I'm persuaded that long as I keep receiving, and I keep receiving and not rejecting, but receiving, God gonna continue to ever love me forever. I'm so persuaded. I'm persuaded like this. I'm persuaded like this, preacher. This is how I'm persuaded. I'm persuaded that if I fall tomorrow, God still loves me. Because I'm persuaded that when God called me and birthed me before I even got here, he said he loved me then. His love ain't changed because he knew the mistakes I was going to make. He knew the habits I was going to get on. He knew the things I was going to get in. He knew the people I was going to get connected with. He knew the area and the neighborhood I was going to be raised in. He knew everything about me before I ever came, because the omnipresent, omnipotent knows all things. And before I came and after I leave, God already knew and already had, and everything he had was tied up in his love. And so between my dates and tombstones and between the lines, whatever it read, I tell you this, God's love for me never changed. Some of you may think God may don't love you because you're going through some things and you don't feel his love. You think you don't feel it, but it's there. His love is there. His grace and mercy is his love. That ain't all his love, because God when he opened up those windows of heaven and fall, it's just because you ain't got money, or you ain't got a husband or a wife, or you ain't got this, or your kids, don't mean God don't love you. He still love you. He still love you. And nobody can replace the love that God has for you. The question today, are you fully persuaded God loves you? Don't mean you ain't gonna go through things. Don't mean things ain't gonna happen in your life. Don't mean there's gonna be some ups and down times. There's gonna be some good times as well as bad times. It rains and the sun shines. But that God still loves you. You're gonna have it together now, and tomorrow you're gonna lose it. You're gonna be saved today, and then you're gonna be backslid next week. Now I ain't prophesying, I'm just saying. Because don't think things in this world don't get you weary sometimes. Don't mean you're gonna backslide, I ain't saying that, but things will get you weary. Because the enemy, he comes and he keep coming, and he will not let up, and he don't light up, and he don't quit. And until you leave here and come on and be with the Lord in glory, the enemy will forever, ever fight you. And he'll get you down sometimes, he'll get you depressed, he'll get you sometimes, and sometimes you own it and you got it together, and sometimes you just can't even get it together. But God said, even through them times, your good times, your weak times, your strong times, I still love you. Question is, are you persuaded that God loves you? Are you persuaded? See, you got to be persuaded. So, well, Pastor, I messed up. You just don't know about my past. Oh, I don't got to know about your past. God already knew your past before he even was now that your future. And he still loves you anyway to say, I want you. I love you. God is persuaded. The question is, are you persuaded? Are you persuaded? You need to be persuaded. If you ain't persuaded, well, I can go through the Bible and tell you about people who done messed up and God still loves them. I can show you people's lives out here today, but if you ain't persuaded about what you read, and you ain't persuaded about what you've been through and what you do, then I'm telling you about myself. I can tell you about how I came and how I was messed up, and how God, and how all the things I've done, and all the things that happened in my life, and all the things that God would just turn away from me. You know, people get on fake testimony and tell you, but I have not been a saint. I ain't been a saint, preacher. Hear what I'm saying? But God love still saint.